Hi everyone, welcome to the second section of this lesson. In the previous section, we looked at creating and managing the Ansible configuration file. We looked at the Ansible global default configuration file, which is the etc ansible.cfg. We looked at the different sections or headers we have in this configuration file. We looked at the parameters under each section. We looked at the default section. We looked at the inventory and the privilege escalation section and their different parameters. And we're also meant to understand that if you don't have access to this Ansible global default configuration file, then you will not be able to configure Ansible. Hence why we have other Ansible configuration file. So in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at the other important Ansible configuration files. So apart from the global default configuration file, which is the etc ansible.cfg, we can also create the Ansible configuration file in the user's home directory. We can also create the Ansible configuration file in the current directory that we will be working on, and we can also create the Ansible configuration file that can be defined by the environment variable. So you can see all these other Ansible configuration files there, and they follow each other in the order of precedence. So which means that this take the highest precedence. So this is higher than this, why this is higher than this, why this is higher than this. So if I have the Ansible configuration file configured here and of course configured here, so this means that the Ansible configuration file will use the configuration file that is defined by the environment variable because this takes a higher precedence over this. And it's the same thing also goes to the fact that if I have the Ansible configuration file configured here and I also have the Ansible configuration file configured here, Ansible will use this configuration file because this takes a higher precedence than this. So let's look at how to do this. So let's bounce to our blast screen and see how this can be done. To verify the current Ansible configuration file, you can use the command ansible --version. So you can see that the current Ansible configuration file is etc ansible.cfg, which is the Ansible global default configuration file. So let's follow the order of precedence from the lowest to the highest, like we mentioned. So let's configure the Ansible configuration file in the user's home directory. So this user is Lisa and this is not the root user. So we're going to configure the configuration file. So let's just do that in this home directory. So this is going to be ansible.cfg. And in this configuration file, just like we have it in the global default configuration file, the same syntax, the same structure is what we're also going to be using here, which is the INI data structure. So here I'm going to have the default header. And in the default header, I can put the inventory parameter. So the inventory is going to be, in I think 2 previous lessons, we configured the inventory file, and the name of our inventory file is static inventory. So you can either do it this way because the inventory file is also in the user's home directory. Oh no, I remember we did that as the root user. So this is another user entirely. This is user Lisa. So we can copy that that directory, that file, rather that inventory file to Lisa's directory. So I can do it this way, or I can just do /home/Lisa/static ini inventory, and the remote user I can make it Lisa. All right. So for the other header, I can do for the privilege escalation. and here I can do become equals true, become user equals root, become method equals sudo, and become ask pass. Ask pass equals false. So if I do ansible -- version, let's see the configuration file that we have. You can see that the ansible configuration file has changed to home lisa ansible.cfg, and you can also see that this has taken precedence over this. All right, so this is the way you can configure the ansible configuration file in the user's home directory. So let's talk about the other configuration file. Let's configure ansible in a current working directory. So to do that, we're just going to create a directory. So I can just say make directory / home / lisa / ansible. Okay, so I can just go to the ansible directory, and in this ansible directory I can create the ansible configuration file. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy what I have here to what I have in the lisa's home directory to home lisa ansible.cfg. So I'm just going to do copy. This is going to be home lisa to, this is ansible.cfg. So I'm just going to copy it here. So if I do ansible -- version, so you can see that the ansible configuration file has changed to home lisa ansible.cfg. So you can see the difference here and here. So I already have an ansible directory, and I have the ansible configuration file in the directory. But don't forget, you must be in this directory before you can be able to see that the ansible configuration file is working for this current directory. And whatsoever ansible operation you're going to be carrying out, you have to be in this directory to be able to carry out that ansible operation. So this is how you can create the configuration file in a current directory. And lastly, the configuration file can be defined by creating the environment variable, and this is the variable in question, which is the ansible_config. So I'll be dropping the link to this particular topic in the description box below, so you can easily click on it and navigate through. So we always do this as usual. So this is what you just need to do. You need to export this, and then to this directory you want to define it to, and by the time you do ansible -- version, you will see the current directory where you've exported these variables to. So this is how these are the other ansible configuration files. So like I said, it depends on how you want to define yours. You can define yours in any of these 4 ways, but I mean, for me, I'm used to defining the configuration file in the current working directory or in a user's directory, so it's always easier for me that way. So if you also want to participate in the class activity, so I'll be dropping the link. Like I said, I'll be dropping the link to this website in the description section below, to this particular topic actually. So if you want to participate in the class activity, in the class activity, you can do that. All right, and if you also want to check some other things that I might have not said in this video, I might have not said some other things in this video, so you might just want to read through the documentation guide you are permitted to do that. So thank you once more. In the next topic, we're going to be looking at how to use the Ansible ad hoc command. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. And thank you for watching. Bye for now.